Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Appreciate everybody jumping into the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you smash that like button here on Victory Saturday over the TCU Horned Frogs, 32-27. Got the dub. Trey and I are just going to get into our immediate thoughts, immediate reaction. I came from the game. Trey was able to watch on TV at home, so we have visuals from both sides in this particular reaction, and just excited to jump into it. I want to give a special shout out to our wonderful sponsor, BUSR. Guys, I got something coming up for you, but busr.com/fanatic. We have a new promo, Sports 100 FP. It is a 5-time rollover promo, but still matching 100% of deposits. So go ahead, hit up BUSR, official sportsbook, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. We are going to have a really cool contest coming over the next month, pending approval. But if you've already signed up for BUSR, you will be included in this particular contest. So everybody's live. Tran.
Wait, real quick. I'm really
Yes.
I'm kicking myself because I didn't bet the under like we both predicted. I didn't bet the under. I forgot to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. We finished up at what, 59?
Mm-hmm. I didn't
59
bet.
points.
I didn't bet the over. I just forgot to bet. That's the thing.
You
So
forgot to bet?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the total for Texas TCU was 65. Came in at 59 today. And we were shaky on it because we didn't understand weather. I was there today. Weather was not an issue. Didn't rain, and everything was fine. But first and foremost, where I want to start with you, Tran, because I want to give you an opportunity to really give your perspective on what you saw. I am thrilled that we won this football game.
Yeah, we should be.
And we can nitpick. There's a lot of nitpicking to do in, I'm going to say, 4 phases. I'm going to say offense, I'm going to say defense, I'm going to say specials, and I'm going to say coaches. There's a lot to nitpick across the board. There are things that were done today that I didn't necessarily agree with, that I know you don't agree with. There's some things that we don't agree with each other, on how things played out. That's perfectly healthy. Point is, we won the football game, Tran.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So, out of those 4 points, where do you want to start?
Dude, I want to start with you. You seem to be, I don't know if we want to start with Smoke, but you and I fundamentally disagree about how they handled the 4th and 1 at the goal line. I thought they should have gone for it. You wanted them to kick the field goal to go. It was 32-20 or what? Or I'm sorry. Yeah, it was 32-20.
32-20. Yep.
It was 32-20. I thought they should have gone for it. And I mean, they obviously didn't work. You felt as though they should have kicked the field goal, keep things going, go up 35-20. So I'll let you start from there, and we can go.
So you can look at it from 2 different ways. So your thought process was going for it because it puts it as three scores. Yes. Mine is it puts it up at a very hard 2-score game when the team hadn't driven on us in a while. And yeah, they're going 99 yards, but what did they do right after that? They went 99 yards. So at that point, my sphincter got a little tight if we didn't actually make the Bijan didn't put us on his shoulders and he's like, what, screw it, I'll get 2 first downs and in the game. But the thing is, at that point, even if they score a touchdown, great, they're kicking it deep. We have our sets of downs to try to try to move the chains a couple times. And if not, we punt it. They have to go all the way down the field again and then get a 2-point conversion. That's my thought process. Is it doesn't, and I've seen so many weird things happen in college football games that you want to make it as difficult for those weird things to happen as possible. And I think that's why I was like, oh, they stopped us. They stopped us on 4th and 1. They stopped us on 3rd and 1, and then they stopped us on 4th and 1 again. When they stopped us at 3rd and 1, that's when in my mind, I'm like, you take the points. You take the points, and then you kick it deep, and then have your defense out there. So that was my thought process.
And I definitely hear where you're coming from. Again, I don't agree fundamentally, but you know, probably turns out to be less stressful if we go your direction than the direction we chose. But I'm just thinking to myself in that moment, I have Bijan Robinson. I've been running the football all day. Can I get a yard to end this? We go up 3 scores, the game's over. Not over, but it's
true. No, it's basically over, man.
That's a
The
big
way
mountain to climb, right? So, yeah, while it's frustrating, I will say this, flipping it to the positive, 4-minute drill, we give up the 99-yard drive, and it's like, oh shit, we're in the Tom Herman thing again.
Well, you got to also think of it. You're dealing with college players, not NFL players that
that's fair,
that aren't used to this. You're in prevent defense at this point. You're like, hey, keep everything in front of you, let them draw out everything. Guess what? Breakdowns happen. Mental breakdowns happen, and that's why to me is like, hey, you take the points, put it up, kick it. To your point, 100%. If we get that, game's over. It breaks their spirit. But what happens in reverse? If you get a 4th and 1, it gave them momentum. So that's why. I mean, luckily for us at this point, it didn't change the whole outcome of the game. But to me at that point, just thinking of it from a logistic standpoint and a position standpoint, I want to go up by two scores, a full 2 scores.
That's fair. That's fair. I do want to address the super chat. Hugh, Pauls, thank you for this. At least we won. Absolutely. No, and right now we're nitpicking. We're jumping. We just jump all over. That's how we do. We come in, we talk, right? But absolutely, those both previous coaches lost. And I'll be honest with you guys. I said this all week. If you guys have been following this channel, I said this all week. There's no magic potion that Gary Patterson is doing to you. The question is, if you're Texas, can you get out of your own way? Can you not have the self-inflicted mistakes? Can you not have the self-inflicted penalty? Can you not, do the things that end up costing you points? And right off the bat, we were in our own way. Right off the bat, right? We give up the big kick return when it's like, hey, we got a guy with a boot. Let's be kicking these things out the end zone. I don't know why we're trying directional kick. Tyler Owens gets down there. Unfortunately, doesn't break down well enough, misses the tackle. We give a big play. My man Luke B, who we'll get to here in a second, he has Zach Evans in a bear hug. We give up a touchdown right off, and they come out running a jet sweep right off the bat, right? They ran quarterback draw. They come out running jet sweep because they're like, they did what I thought they were going to do. They wanted to test to see if the stuff they were doing last year would work. And to PK's defense, PK had the defense dialed up. Those are player mistakes. That's not coaching, right? If I have 3 people right there and they're in the correct gap, in the correct hole, and everything's plugged, and the guy, my middle linebacker hasn't bear hugged, and the guy runs to him anyway, then that's on Luke B, right? And they'll get that, hey, you got to get him to the ground, period, right? So we give those things up. TCU is just giving us, they're putting the ball on the carpet. I was telling the TCU fans sitting next to us, you people are very generous here in Fort Worth, the way they were giving us the football. But then we're giving it back to them because we're kicking field goals and we're not scoring touchdowns off of these gifts. They muffed a punt. They run the reverse. They put the ball on the carpet. It's just a lot of mistakes by both teams. But I will give Sark in our group credit. They understood we got to get the ball in the hands of our best player. Bijan Robinson, this was a signature performance for him. A yeoman's effort, 35 carries, 216 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. They got another couple catches for 20-something yards. And he got nothing easy. There were so many plays where Gary and them had the defense for it. I just talked about PK had the defense for that jet sweep that Zach scored on. Well, how many times did Gary have the defense for our stuff? And Bijan just said, I'm not going down. Bijan said, I'm stepping through this leg tackle. I'm stepping through this arm tackle. Any other back gets 2 yards. I'm getting 6 yards. I'm getting 7 yards. He didn't break a whole bunch of runs. He broke some, absolutely. But it was an incredible performance on his end offensively to keep us going in this game and ultimately to win in that 4-minute drill where we go 3rd and 6 and he gets the first down. And we go again, he gets the first down. And he's a special player. We are so blessed and fortunate to have him on our side. That's how I feel right now. Because he bailed this team out on offense in a lot of ways where stuff wasn't blocked properly or whatever. And he just said, screw it, I'm going to get it anyway. That's a great player. It's a great football player. We saw 2 great because Zach Evans is like that on the other side. Y'all saw that too. Very different players. But we got to see 2 elite backs do their thing. And I thought that was really, really fun. But our guy came out on top today.
I mean, since we have a mutual friend, Bo, who we text back and forth whenever Bijan does something just special. We always say it started off when the rumors were Urban Meyer was going to be our coach. We say, if I were Urban Meyer, I'd be salivating to coach Bijan. And it, of course, transitioned over to Sarkisian. We sent that, I think, 15 times throughout the game. So, that we know what we have in him. And I'm watching the Alabama game, and I'm seeing the push that their offensive line gets. I'm thinking to myself, these types of game would be dime a dozen for Bijan every single week. So he's just a special player. So we're watching greatness.
We really are, man. We were watching greatness, and that's what great players do, right? Too is when people are off. Quarterback didn't have a good day today. Quarterback was off. Quarterback had some bad plays, negative plays. Offensive line has some issues. We had some offensive line injuries. I see people mentioning that in the chat here as we go through it. Receivers had some drop passes. We had guys that normally I think would make those catches that didn't make those catches. He said, okay, I got this. And we had some people on defense do that too, by the way, that stepped it up on the defensive side. Now, it didn't happen at the end of the game, but throughout the game to keep the score where it was, obviously finishing with a 32-27 final, holding a team under 30 points. Anthony Cook, Byron
Huge game.
Murphy. Huge game. Anthony Cook, and I know some people, were texting me, oh, he had some bad plays too, Steve, blah, blah. He's still getting a game ball for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because Anthony Cook did some high-level shit today. Okay? Not everybody – playing nickel in the Big 12 is hard AF. You're going to have some plays. Did he get lost in the zone a couple times with Quinn Johnson? Whatever. But I've told – how many years have I been talking about Anthony Cook as a blitzer? I've seen this since he was at Lamar, bro. This kid blitzes like he's the freaking honey badger. And you saw it today. He went one-man band and got the ball back in a critical moment. How he plays on the edge, how he attacks. Tran, you texted me about how people can't really run bubble screen against us anymore. I want you to elaborate on that point.
Yeah, so rewind yourself to the 2015 through 2017 season when every team knew on the outside we were very weak at playing the wide receiver screens. Him and Darian Dunn are the best I've seen playing that, pushing the block into the play, disrupting it, being physical at the point of attack, breaking up the play, tackling in space. I'm extremely happy with the way that they've been playing that, both Darian and also Anthony Cook. Anthony Cook tackling in space has been just a godsend for our team, to tell you the truth. And
he also knows how to leverage the sideline very well.
And honestly, if the negative that you could see on him was that quarterback roughing that they had, which the game's coming back, the game's going so fast, and he's diving at him, and then he just immediately decides to slide. That's not his fault.
It's a bang play.
Yeah. It's not his fault.
You cannot pull up that fast. That's impossible. That's it. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. There's no way you can ask the kid to pull up that fast. I'm not going to get furious at the refs. That could be the fifth thing, because I told y'all before, offense, we got stuff to work on. Defense, we got stuff to work on. Specials, we got stuff to work on. Coaches, we got stuff to work on. The fifth thing could be the refs, but I'm also at this point where I already understand what the BS we're going to get from the refs.
They were bad on both ends, though.
Right, right. Because I didn't think TJ Carter deserved to be ejected.
He didn't.
And I don't, and it's the rule because he did lower his helmet. But I don't like that in college football. Like, they shouldn't lose their best safety.
By rule, it was targeting. However, the way that they went back and reviewed it was bullshit. To tell you the truth, it's like they had 9 men on the field. Gary Patterson had to run down and call a timeout, and then because he had to call a timeout to prevent a penalty, they reviewed something that got him a penalty, which to me, it was like, come on, guys. Like it ended up helping us out, of course. I think we drove down and we scored on that. And maybe not a touchdown, but we scored. But it's I don't like plays like that happening.
It wasn't a good officiated game. And Tracy Williams, if you're out there, I saw you yesterday. You look great, but you look fantastic, but you look in fantastic shape. Saw you reffing 6A football last night. I need you to weigh in on this game. I know you watched the game, brother. I know you're out there somewhere. You might not be watching live with us, but at some point, whether it's today or in the comments, I need you to weigh in as an official yourself and tell me that this is the best that we can get in college football. I need you to keep it a buck with me, brother. I'm not trying to be an ass or anything. I don't understand it. I don't understand the expectation. Some of it is rule issues. The targeting rule is bullshit in itself. In itself, it's bullshit. However, this entire game, like you said, on both sides, the officiating was. I mean, did they call unnecessary? Who did they call the unnecessary roughness on? Was that Luke B or was that DeMarvin Overshown on a tackle? And then they called it later, like when he rolled up on a guy. Like,
so it was a dual tackle, and I think it's Overshown. It bailed them out. It was third and 10 there as well. So,
but I'm gonna show Flo's comments here because I agree. Montreal Flo, you win the game anyway. Because I've told you, Tran, and I've told everybody on this channel, I don't want to hear. We can complain about the refs after a dub, right? We can talk. It's a close game, blah blah blah. But when you're handling your business and when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, I don't want to like. Steve Sarkisian has to allot for margin with refs because of the SEC nonsense and all the political BS that's going on. Assume you're not getting a fair whistle on the road. Plan for it. Plan for it. The same way Coach Boone had to do that. Remember the Titans. I know y'all love when I reference Remember the Titans, but when he's taking a integrated football team on the road to go play somewhere against all white team in the 1970s, he's got to assume I'm not getting a fair whistle. Right. So here we are in 2021. We're not getting a fair whistle. So we can complain, and we just did. And I don't want to spend any more time on it because I want to talk about ball. But assume you're not getting a fair whistle the rest of the season, period. Especially on the road. So let's move on. Okay, they called him Overshown. I do want to touch on the going back, kind of working our way down. Casey Thompson, rough performance today, I would say, especially for him. And I know what he expects for himself. First road start. And there were 3 things I highlighted, right? And 2 of them worked out in TCU's favor. My 3 things I highlighted was slowing down Bijan Robinson was the number 1 priority, which they did not do. Number 2 was, can we get doubt into number 11, Casey Thompson? And number 3 was, what is the coverage on Xavier Worthy? How do we deal with that? So 2 of those things worked out in TCU's favor, yet we still win the football game. That's positive.
I disagree with the 2 because I saw Xavier Worthy getting separation, and there was 3 balls that I could think of that hit him in the hand that he dropped. So I don't. He just didn't execute. One thing that for the third one, I agree with you is that the Casey Thompson, but I don't think they got in his head. I think he got in his own head.
I don't think they got in his head.
That's what I think is one of his strengths, though, is that he's extreme. He's that irrational confidence guy that you got. Like he threw it to a. I saw someone say that they missed a pass interference on Xavier Worthy. Come on, he didn't need to be bailed out on Casey Thompson throwing it into triple coverage on that one. So. Yeah, and after that, he just comes back on the field and plays. You know, you need that type of player.
Cliff, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, if that's the worst that we will get with Casey throughout the year, and he learns from this, it's a win, honestly, because we got out, and we're so lucky we had Bijan right behind us, too.
So my thing with Worthy is, because I hear what you're saying. My pushback to that is that you're coming off a game where you got accolades, bro. You had 3 touchdowns. You were one of the best players in college football last week. Your name's on bulletin boards. People are coming to, so it's like now that the next step, especially for very young football players, is consistency. So to have a drop, when you're turning and you're almost looking upfield to get into the end zone, contested catches. I understand he's not the biggest guy, but that's something that this team is honestly missing right now, in my opinion. Because the only person I see that consistently can make a contested catch is Jordan Whittington with real contact on him. I don't see that from anybody else. Joshua Moore, I'm not getting much from him. Marcus Washington, I'll get to Marcus Washington in a second. Phenomenal on the perimeter. But, if we can get him more engaged in the passing game, then maybe he can be that guy. But his hands have been inconsistent. But he's a hell of a blocker. Even today, again, Marcus Washington was getting busy on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. So he has to be on the field because he blocks better than some of my tight ends. And Xavier Worthy. Now, hey, can you make a catch when a guy's draped on your back? And you extend your arms and you're fighting through contact, ball's on you. There's not separation here. Not everything going to be clean, right? Not everything's going to be you're running away from the defense. I agree with you. He could have had some touchdowns today. We, for whatever reason, whether it's Hudson Card, whether it's Casey Thompson, we're just not timed up on our deep stuff. It just hasn't been clicking, where we've either been overthrowing it or we're throwing it to this hash. I'm still a little puzzled there. So they're just gonna have to work on that. But we need somebody that can, just IDing weaknesses for Texas as the West Virginias and the OUs and all these teams really dive into what we're doing. They're gonna say, guys, they don't have a guy to make. Number 21's gone, Troy O'Mary, because that was supposed to be the dude. Troy O'Mary is supposed to be the guy that's the 6'4" guy. Or it doesn't matter if he's open or if he's one-on-one, he's open, right? Because he's so big. Well, we don't have that guy now. So we have all these smaller receivers running around, but when it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and we really need something, they got to use their bodies better the way Jordan Whittington is. I'm going to give a pass. Jordan Whittington's doing his thing, at least the last 2 weeks. But I need that more from the other guys in their development, if you will.
Yeah, where you need to start experimenting. We need to put. I know offline when you and I were talking on the phone, you brought up our tight ends. The only people who probably do it is Jared Wiley, honestly, and Jatavian Sanders.
People are commenting about the tight ends. Yeah, okay, hey, why can't the tight ends do that, Tran?
Yeah, and then Jatavian Sanders, we know if he's in the game, it's a passing. Well, why not play both Jared Wiley and Jatavian Sanders, split them out? And that way, you still can have him because I'll take Jatavian Sanders over a wide receiver. Yeah, even if we're running the ball, I'll take him over a little wide receiver, just getting in front of him, just his big body. But at the same time, he's a big body that I wouldn't want to try to tackle over the middle. So it gives you options. So if that's what we're looking for and that's what we're needing, we need to start experimenting with different things.
Jeffrey K, good question. I'm not going to blame Andre Coleman for this, to be honest with you. I have seen the receivers getting better in a lot of regards. The receivers have not been bad all season. If you see the whole position group having problems, then we start looking at the coaches. I'm not blaming Andre Coleman for this because it's not Andre Coleman's fault that Troy O'Mary can't play. It's not Andre Coleman's fault right now because he's only been coached 2 years. He's been the receiver coach. That the room is what it is. They're trying to work with, and this goes all the way up to Sark. They're trying to work with the pieces they got and putting the best receivers on the field. And right now, the best receivers on the field are smaller guys. Your biggest receiver right now is Jordan Whittington, essentially. Unless you go, if you're talking about height, Marcus Washington when he subs in. But they're all thinner guys. They're not going to body up a dude. And because in games like this, there are other games where it's not an issue because of the type of defense you're facing. For example, the last 2 weeks, we weren't looking for that. But in games like this, where you have Hodges Tomlinson and Carter and all these guys back there that are tight in coverage, you need people to make contested catches. And so their guy, I can't blame Andre Coleman because Troy O'Mary's knee is messed up. We just got to figure out how to work around it. And to Trant's point, maybe this is where you start considering flexing out a Jatavian Sanders or somebody to give you some other look with that size to help out on some of those downs, especially when the quarterback is not, rail accurate, right? He's going to throw the ball in the right location. I thought for the most part today, this is why I disagree with the people that say Casey Thompson was just flat out rattled. I actually thought, other than the interception he threw into quadruple coverage, I thought he was confident and actually decisive in his reads. Problem is the location of the football.
Mm-hmm.
He was throwing to the right person. I'm there, where I'm sitting, I can get a good all 22 type view. I didn't see too many times where I was like, I would have thrown it to that guy. I saw what he was doing. Even when he decided to check down, I agree with it. But catch radius matters, especially when somebody is, we talked about this with Sam Ellinger a lot. He often, when he missed high. So you get the big receivers, you overcome some of those things. But again, nitpicking. We're nitpicking. Now, I would like to say this. So Hudson Card didn't hold today. He's already played 4 games. And I'm not saying that they're going to redshirt outright, but I think it's now a situation where from now moving forward, Casey Thompson's taking every snap unless something happens. And we can just save a year. Because he didn't hold today. And that today would have been game number 5, and obviously he would have. So just something to be mindful of as fans, right? Drew Adu, $50 donation. Jesus. You told me last night you'd be in a more generous mood. I appreciate it. Drew. Thank you for, we're trying to grow this channel. We're getting trained a mic.
It's like, you guys talking shit. It was supposed to be here today, but Amazon took forever. Like, you guys.
No, I agree. I'm catching up on the comments here. The game moves too fast. I agree. I think Homer mentioned this as well. Shout out to Homer. He went with the game. He went to the game with me today. So we had a blast, the two of us. It was just the two of us. We were talking ball like we always do. But
see you all rubbing elbows with other Twitter, Texas Twitter royalty.
YouTubers. Yeah, me and Homer had a blast today. Shout out to Texas Homer. Make sure I go subscribe to my brother's channel over there. Let me see. So let's go to the defense. Last drive. This is where I'm gonna get on the coaches. And shout out to my boy Landon from the Lando Show, who was also at the game today. And he brought up this point when we met in the concourse after the game. That last and this is, I'm totally stealing Landon's point. He's gonna make it out on his channel, but this is something he said, and I didn't realize it as it was happening. On the 99-yard drive, coaches, and Homer and I looked at each other, and Jacoby Jones literally couldn't breathe. Everybody on the defense is gassed. Somebody asked me earlier what happened, about, I don't know if it was Overshown or whatever player. All I can tell you is you can't even. It's going to be very difficult to grade the defense on the last 4 or 5 plays because everybody was sucking wind. Now, coaches are playing the clock game, right? So they're like, yeah, let's, Sark is like, let this clock bleed. If they're going to score, let them take forever. But I would like to try to restrict the score because I don't know if my offense is going to get, convert on the other end. Landon was like, I would have burned a timeout there and gotten some guys some rest. And when he said that, I agree with him. Because if you like the way Jacoby Jones, when he got back, and he had a great game today, by the way. He had a great game today. He was working his man all day long. Problem is, once they got into that panic, Max Duggan, because they knew, Gary Patterson's gonna say, Max Duggan, everything's irrelevant now. You just need to go score or else the game's over. So there's adrenaline rush on their offense. And we're playing safe. We're sitting in zone and blah, blah, blah. And now they're going tempo like maniacs. And guys are sucking wind. So It's like, hey, maybe we should have taken a time out there, get everybody. Because people are asking me, somebody said, what's BJ Foster doing? I don't know because they were all dead ass tired. I don't know what they were doing.
Not only that, if you do use a timeout there, you get them a break. You get your right defense in, and you could also throw in an exotic blitz on them because up to that point we were rushing 3.
Thank you for the donation.
We were rushing 3, and we weren't getting any pressure on him whatsoever. He was just sitting back there and just waiting for someone just to find a little crease to throw the ball to, which any probably senior high school quarterback could hit if they have the protection. So we actually, if you look at Max Duggan's stat line, most of that came on that 99-yard drive. I think he had a little over 200 yards passing. But you get a little pressure on him. You saw what he did. I mean, he wasn't great, and you saw what happened when Quentin Johnson went out. He had no one. He had no one. It was just they had to beat us with running the ball, and they couldn't do it that way too. So I agree that you probably should have wasted one of your 2 leftover timeouts right there just to get your right defensive personnel in there, because if you went on first down, you went on first down. Yeah, there you
go. Sam Storm, at the beginning of the video, we actually addressed this. Trent, that was the first thing Trent and I jumped into. Rarely do Tran and I disagree. We disagree on this one. I would have gone for it. You're on Tran's side. Tran would have taken the points. So I just wanted to address that. But if you go back and check out this live, we spent our first about 10 minutes talking about this and going through it. But that's the beauty of it, right? We all feel, we all have our own opinions and we all want the same outcome. And it's the outcome we got today, which is a victory. And we have to remember that. 32-27. That's why I'm trying to weave in the positive, man, because there was a lot of positives today too. There's a lot of positives today. Dustin, what's good, brother? He said, last drive TCU scored on. Did you like to prevent D, or do you think we should have been? See, I'm a risk taker there too. Man.
Not with us not calling timeout. I wouldn't, because we're gassed.
Oh, yeah. Once you're gassed, you're gassed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, though, at the beginning, like, especially when he was in his own end zone.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm trying to get a turnover or
safety.
Or a safety.
Or a hold. A hold
something.
on. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no, Colby, and they weren't subbing. They were going tempo on us. Guys were completely gassed. Jacoby Jones, I guarantee you the only thing on his mind was trying to get back to the line of scrimmage between plays. He was not go and watch the film of Jacoby Jones, that last drive. He literally, it looked like he couldn't breathe. He was so tired. He literally just stood up. And
he balled out.
I'm not trying to isolate him or anything like that.
Because he balled out.
He balled out. He played his ass off, and he's tired. And now I'm in a situation where these people are flying up and down the field, and I'm a big boy, and it's like, whoo, So it's tough. Matthew Miller, thank you for the super chat. I do want to talk about Byron Murphy, because let me tell you something. I'm not a defensive line expert. I'm not Bo Davis. I didn't play defensive line. I played quarterback when I did play football. I've always played on the offensive side ball. And so, but I know what I don't like when I'm on offense. And I don't like defensive linemen who are disruptive. And what I've been harping on with this group, whether it's Ojimo, whether it's Coburn, whether it's T Sweat, Broughton, Collins, whoever, is I feel like we've lacked disruption. Byron Murphy is a disruptor. Byron Murphy is the guy where if you're running counter, he's going to blow up your guard when he's pulling. Just so he knows that guy, even if he doesn't make the play, he's blowing somebody up to cause a traffic jam. That's what Byron Murphy is earning himself more snaps. He needs to be on the field because he's either a little bit more quick twitch and is able to get to some of these guards or what. But I'm very impressed with that young man. The fact that I can sit in the stands and I see something and I'm like, ooh, oh, that was 90.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that was 90 again. He's making a name for himself. I was very impressed with how he played today. From field vision. Obviously,
yeah, no. He looked great. Even with his hands were violent. When they showed a replay of him breaking down, I think it was the left guard or right guard, it might have been. But one thing that I noticed about him was his body type reminds me. I'm not saying his game reminds me of it, but his body type reminds me a lot of Aaron Donald's. Because he's a big dude, but
that was said about him in high school too. By the way,
he doesn't look like he doesn't look like he has any fat on him whatsoever. He looks like he's just a giant guy, and I was very impressed by the way he played today.
Natural talent. Somebody said here because these comments are interesting on Byron because he's as he continues to ball, he's becoming a more popular player. So I do want to highlight some of this. So. I'm sorry, I want to go back to the Byron one since we're on that point. The other thing, too, is that he's coming along. They have a rotation. I do agree he should get more snaps. He's earning more snaps based upon what he's showing because we've talked about having dog mentality. So, Tran, let me speak on this for a second. I don't know everybody in the chat, 225 in here. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Make sure you hit that like button. Also, hit up BUSR, official sponsor, official sportsbook, official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. We are going to run a contest here soon. I will announce details once it's approved. But anybody that's on BUSR, even if you signed up from day one on busr.com/fanatic, you will be eligible for the contest. Now, what I want to get to though is, so I was out at the game. Homer was with me. Me and Homer went to get to the game together today. And Lando show. Landon was out there. And I will be honest with you. The environment was like a bowl game. It did not feel like a true road game. What I mean by that, it was more like a 55-45 TCU split, maybe 50-50. It was a lot of burnt orange there. I don't know what you guys could see on TV in terms of what it looked like, but even pregame, I went to some tailgates this morning around 9 a.m. It was all orange and purple. It was even numbers. There's a lot of Texas fans here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I understand a lot of people that may not have the money or the time to go to Texas OU next weekend that know that Texas was coming here. We traveled very well today, and it wasn't an environment where I felt like, oh, I'm the one person here in orange and I'm in a sea of purple. I didn't feel that way at all. From my vantage point, if you guys were there at the game, if anybody was there at the game, please let me know. But it felt really 50-50 to me. And Landon, you can weigh in. Homer, if you're still here, you can weigh in. It didn't feel like it even the noise, TCU fans, they weren't obnoxious per se. It wasn't anything crazy. But I think it was a good test just to not be in your own environment at the same token, especially getting ready for next week, because I've had my lips sealed on OU. You and I, we've made an effort to say, hey, we are all hands on deck. Shout out to Mark Vasquez. We are all hands on deck for TCU. And you made the comment last week that how much you wanted to beat TCU. And I noticed on the comments that we got from that video, a lot of people agreed with you. A lot of people felt the same way that you felt, Tran. about beating TCU this week. So now I feel as though we can really, turn our attention to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's such a played out saying is take one game at a time, but you have to. You can't overlook. I mean, look exactly what happened to I saw it through the chat that West Virginia lost to Texas Tech at home. They played a pretty emotional game against Oklahoma, and then they come home and they lay an egg against a team we dropped 70 on. So you can't overlook any team.
This is a good point by Cameron. School size does matter here. TCU is a much smaller school and a private school, so that's a very, very fair point. And I saw Landon weighed in as well. I thought a lot of people had energy from the TCU side, but I did think we were louder, and we're a much bigger school, much bigger program. But it was refreshing to go on the road and get a win against a school that you've struggled with, against a coach that has it out for you, and just get it done. Get it done. We're nitpicking right now, and we're breaking everything down. And this is all emotional reaction. We've all only seen the game one time, but as we rewatch and go through it, yeah, we'll have more to chime in on. But at the end of the day, it's still great to get it dub and get out of there with a win. Let's see here. Somebody asked me about Arkansas. I want to address this real quick. I was dead wrong. I thought 18.5 was nuts. But those boys went to Athens and I haven't seen a snap from that game. I'm pretty sure Stetson Bennett started at quarterback for Georgia. Seems like they got their ass whooped. And I was wrong about that.
Game was over after they blocked a punt for a touchdown.
Oh, they had a punt block?
Yeah, for a touchdown. Yeah.
Would you like to see more RPOs ran by Casey today since the pass game wasn't working well? Good question. They did score an RPO with Jordan Whittington when they went tempo. I think that's something where you progress throughout the season, adding these things in. They don't have everything installed. They just don't. And I think they're still learning. And one of the reasons why that is they're still learning this team. For example, we haven't talked about Denzel Okafor going down on the Bijan Robinson touchdown. Denzel Okafor goes down. We kick over Derek Kerstetter to left guard, which a lot of people seem to be more favorable to Kerstetter at guard anyway. And we finally get, the new fan favorite Andre Carrick in the game.
Love him. Love him. I love him.
And but my point is, you can only run what your offensive line allows you to run and what your quarterback is capable of. So we've got to see how they develop, with this new group. I don't know what what the impact of Okafor's injury is. I hope the brother gets well soon. It sucks. Never want to see a man go down. But that's
it didn't look good. It didn't look good. I'll be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, the way it was rolled up on, I'd be surprised if he's back this season.
Damn.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Damn. That's unfortunate, man.
But Dr. Windler's a magician, so we'll see.
Nah, hey, Danny, what's good, man? Carrick is a dog.
Yeah.
Carrick's a dog. And we're looking for him. Let me see. Nah, Georgia's defense is incredible. Georgia's defense is absolutely incredible. That's a national championship defense, period. Now, I don't know what, if they have enough on offense to beat Bama and get to where they need to go, but that's a national championship defense. No doubt about it.
It's all spearheaded by Jordan Davis right up front.
Oh, yeah. Good point, Lando. Yeah, it definitely depends on where you sit, what section you're in, because you only have the perspective of where you're sitting at the game. Absolutely. Drew, another $50.
Jeez, man.
Drew. Man, thank you. Thank you. Drew's just helping us out. Let me see. I haven't seen OU today. Thank you, Drew. I really appreciate it, though. In all seriousness, I'm really thankful for that. I haven't seen OU play today. I literally got back from the stadium. Shout out to everybody I got to meet at the game today. I want to take some time. You guys were so generous. Marshall, Kyle, Jack, Kyle and Jack, who are twin brothers, who were really, really cool. Met your dad today. My boy Cody up in the stands. My boy Justin from SC. I met Justin and his brother Joe, who are from Clemson, who came up here from Clemson, South Carolina. They picked a Texas game that they wanted to see in person. This is the game they came up for, and they're also Dallas Cowboys fans, so they're going to be attending the Cowboys game at AT&T tomorrow. So it's a whole brothers trip for them, and it was really cool to get chop it up with you guys. Justin bought me a beer today, so just thank you. It was really cool meeting y'all in person, and we had a great time at M&G Carter Stadium today. So it was really, really good. Drew did say he would be back in the game. Somebody said, "Damn, Drew, can I get some love too?" Drew out here making it rain. So, good question about the 2-point conversion. I don't like the whole play. How about that? I don't like the whole play. I don't know if that was his first read or not. It looked like it was.
It looked 100%
like they were trying to isolate everybody over here and throw a one-on-one. To me, that's low percentage football, especially when it's not like Randy Moss.
If you're doing a high point, you need the 6'8" guy out there. By the way,
like it's low percentage on a. I don't mind throwing that if it's 2nd and goal from the 3, right? But for that can't be my 2-point conversion play. And I don't know, the world of football I've learned to know, and where how, again, we're a product of the offenses and defenses that we played in or coached in or worked in, right? And where I come from, we always had certain 2-point plays designed each week for that particular opponent, depending on what we saw. So you can't tell me that if they went about it in that approach, and this is the 2-point, this is the personnel we have this week, that was the play. Like I don't know.
I am very curious on the other variations of that formation that they have, play formation that they have, because what they have, they had a diamond formation on the left side and then just one-on-one up on the right. So I'm very
one-on-one on the right.
They had one-on-one, but they had a diamond formation to the left, right? There's four receivers to the left.
Was it 4 or was it trips?
I think it was 4. It might be trips, but I'd have to go back and look at it because I was very interested in what type of variation they can run onto that side as well. So, but I wasn't, I wasn't a fan of it, honestly.
Well, I mean, if you think about it too, goes back to what I said before, all phases, including coaches. And that's one where if that's what they called, I would like, and I think they do this because I think that's why the players buy in. If that's what they called, that's one where we're in film room, and because I had this happen when I was a player, and I had a turnover, and a coach came up. It was my offensive coordinator at the time, and when we were starting film, and I was ready to already rail on myself because I was like, "Oh man, I fucked up." And he's like, "That play call was on me. That play should have never been called. That was a bad play. I put you in a bad position. Won't happen again. We've got to correct ourselves just like you guys have to correct yourselves too, right?" And coaches can get emotional or see something and it's not practical in the sense of the game and get away from what they do. That's why discipline is so important. Even in these situations where everything is bearing down, these guys have these headsets on. They can get locked in and do something crazy that doesn't make sense. We saw with Matt Wells a week ago when he tried out his backup quarterback and made him go for it on 4th and 6 from his own 40 in the second quarter. It doesn't make any sense, right? So coaches can be accountable for that if that's the play call. I don't know what the situation was. I'm sure they'll be asked about it. But if that was a play call, that's a bad play call, right? So you got to stand up in front of your team and say, you know what? That's not a optimal situation for Joshua Moore. That's not an optimal situation for Casey Thompson. That's not an optimal situation for our football team. So we won't put you guys in that situation moving forward. We got to get something moving. We got to get something, either get 5 the football, whatever. Speaking of which, speaking of coaches, I think Tran is getting a mic. Knock it off. Tran's getting a mic.
I'm just gonna have it for show now. I'm not gonna even use it. I'm gonna still use this shitty thing and then just have you guys deal with it. Just gonna sit right here while
y'all are here talking about Tran ready for the gulag. Y'all are too much. Y'all are too much. Now I've gotten thrown off with what I was gonna say. Y'all over here getting on Tran and stuff. I do think though, from a coaching standpoint, they've got to understand what they have and what they don't have. And there's some things that are just like, for example, if you call a wide receiver screen, because I saw this a couple times today, wide receiver screen to Joshua Moore, Xavier Worthy can't be the lead blocker. That's not putting him in an optimal situation for success, right? Xavier Worthy's 160, 165 pounds. Now, later in the game, he did block pretty well. There was a couple times where he actually blocked Tomlinson pretty well. So I'm not saying he can't do it.
Was it in space?
It was more in space. It was more in space.
There's a difference between a static, like on the line blocker. I would not have him take it, and you know what I'm talking about right there. Mm-hmm. So like if they're moving, one little left hand push on someone will push someone off balance, and it's off balance, and it's a block. So
yeah, but when we're running those plays, because this is a problem I had with the previous staff. Don't call, if we're going to call screens, have the right people in front blocking for those screens. That needs to be a Marcus Washington, or I'd rather have Joshua Moore in that situation blocking for Xavier Worthy, not the other way around. Just because KYP, know your personnel, period. And these are correctable things. And it was dope is that we won the game. And we have and because that's the best time to teach. Because it's hard to teach after 70-point win. It's hard to humble dudes. It's hard to go through film session when you're up 70, right? Or you put 70 on the. But when you win like this, there's the silver lining is we got a dub, but we can still go and like y'all. There's plays where we really, really screwed up as a team, as a staff, as players, right? Like one of the questions I would have for the coaches is what's holding you back from utilizing Keelan Robinson more? Because to me, he seems like the fastest person on the team. So what's holding you back from why are we still in this whole let's gas the defense out, blah, 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 and then get them going against them when they're tired? I'm sorry, like that if we're gonna go by that logic, then Zach Evans wouldn't ever play until the third quarter. So
well, we're a little bit fortunate. We have a stable of really, really good running backs that we could actually utilize this.
We do.
For a I'm sorry, I have Oklahoma and Kansas State on, and they just housed a punt for a touchdown.
Who?
And it's K-State. They're making it an interesting game. 1 minute left. 7-point game right now. You don't need the extended warranty, Bones? Okay.
We love you.
They're great, man.
A lot of people asking me today about you, Tran. So the next time people see you out in public is what? Oklahoma State?
Okay,
depending on kickoff time?
Yeah, depending on kickoff time.
So we should probably find that out this week in terms of kickoff.
Hopefully. Because Jason even said he wanted to go with us too. So
yeah, no, this is another correctable thing. We touched on it earlier. We can hit on it again. Deep shots. Got to hit on those deep shots. That's because you know why dudes can drape over guys like that? Because if you can't throw the ball over somebody's head, then I can play up on you. Football's not that deep sometimes. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And this is one of those cases where, yeah, when you start hitting deep shots, people gonna back up. You start seeing a lot of off coverage. You start seeing a lot of too high, right? Because people were like, look how people play the Chiefs this season in the NFL. Everybody's a mile away because nobody wants to see Tyreek Hill getting caught over their head anymore. So they're making Patrick Mahomes complete 10 passes in a row to get in the end zone versus giving up a bomb. But go ahead.
I was going to say, I was just adding on to the Patrick Mahomes thing, especially since everyone knows that Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City is breaking in a brand new line, essentially. So
great point.
So they're like, hey, whatever, we'll give all the underneath and we'll let them go. We'll let them go play after play after play after play after play. Hopefully, one of those plays, we crack them one time and we get something good out of it where they get them in a second and long, third and long situation. So
I think this is a great comment from Mike Davis. We got to see them respond with some grit because this was something that was a concern just in general going on the road. And by the way, we're going to go another 7 minutes because I have to get somewhere. So we'll watch the game, everything. I'll be back. There's going to be a lot of content this week. We're doing some stuff with some OU people. Now that it's OU week, we're
not going to put anything out for OU week. I'm good.
We're going to put anything out. We're just going to react after the game.
We'll just react.
But there's a lot of collabs we're doing this week. There's also, we got to really watch this. There's a lot of data we got today. And I think one of the things you got was this team just from Arkansas, and I know it was not the same environment, nowhere close, but just getting a win on the road, traveling in conference against a respected opponent, against a respected coach. And they showed some grit. Things were ugly. You were down at certain points in the game. You had the lead. You had a 2-score lead for, good parts of the second half. And we went back and forth with it. And there was stuff we gave up. There's stuff you got to learn from. There's stuff where we got to dig deeper. And then there's other stuff where it's like, oh, I learned that Anthony Cook is even more of a dog. I learned that Bijan Robinson can carry the ball 35 times and not fumble and protect the football and put this team on his back if asked to do so. Do I want Bijan Robinson running like this every week?
No.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Absolutely not. I don't even know if I want him to get 35 touches against OU. Now, I want us to do whatever it takes to beat OU, but in the best interest of the young man and what he's asked to do, every game is going to be different. Game flow is going to be different. Game flow today, the way we were playing, it dictated that we needed Superman to put his cape on today, which he did that. Best player. I give him big. I don't know how the rest of the conference is looking, but you can't ask Bijan Robinson to do that every single week, 35 times. But I have said there are points in the season. There are certain games in the season. There's going to be another game this year where somebody might plug up our run, but then he gets 6 catches for 88 yards and a touch, right? However you want to dictate it. I still need to see more Keelan Robinson personally.
I think we will. I think we'll see the speed because we'll need the speed in against Oklahoma. So I feel like we will see a little bit more with him.
Love you too, Danny. Love you too. Yeah, no, we're only going 7 more minutes. This is going to be a little bit over an hour. It's only because I have some plans tonight with my wife and the family that I got to get to. It's been a busy, busy day. But trust me, there's going to be a lot of content this week. There's a lot of content this week. And I'll be announcing once everything's confirmed on socials with some of the collabs we're doing to preview the OU game, as well as, going over the data that we learned from today's game, today's victory, which needs to be highlighted. Any other big points we missed before we head out here? Or anything else, even on your end, Tran, that you want to touch on, or anybody that didn't get some love?
Oh, I just wanted to touch on someone beginning of the chat said, "Hey Tran, can we finally get Dicker some love?" First of all, I am a special teams guy. I love special teams, and I think they can flip the field. I'm not gonna give Dicker credit for him doing what he's supposed to. We expect from him. The one time I will give him credit for it is the very first field goal. The long snapper or the deep snapper, he snapped it way too high. The new holder caught it high and he had to put it down and throw him off, and he still made it in, even though it was a bank shot. I will also give him credit on the hang time on his punts, because I think that caused the fumble for the first muff punt. So those are the two things. Him hitting 4 in a row field goals, we expect that from him. Anything, we said that at the beginning of the year, anything 45 yards and in, he should be automatic. That's what he should be focused on this year. So I'm glad he hit him. Let's be honest, but we don't really need to give him credit for that.
He went 4 for 4 today for field goals, 2 for 2 for extra points. He did but he didn't kick anything longer than 38 yards. So I'm 1,000% with you, Tran. Those are like, for the level of kicker that he is.
Yeah,
should be 100% if everything's blocked correctly. Now, we can't account for if somebody comes off the edge or through the A gap or whatever. But if everything's blocked up correctly and we execute before he makes contact with the ball, then we should be getting what we got. Period. He'll get his flowers in due time when it's deserved. I mean, I'm not trying to be in here. I'm not trying to be in the field goal business. And this is something, if y'all get to know my boy Homer a little bit better, he hates when we kick field goals. Homer was getting mad as shit during the game because it's points off. It's, and rightfully so. We get a gift. That was those 2 fumbles. The one where they fumbled on the reverse. I know we were getting interior pressure. That's an unforced turnover to me. And the muff punt, unforced turnover. Turn those into touchdowns. Right? You're already in the red area when you're getting the one that was a muff. That needs to be a touchdown. And we've been a very good red area team up until today, where we were, and every game's going to be different. I think we were at like 95% coming into today. We were almost like an elite red area team, but it's almost like we lose points if we're kicking a field goal right there, because it's holding TCU in the game. They got to stay within range. When you start scoring touchdowns on people's dumbass mistakes, that's when you blow people out, like we did against Tech.
I'm trying to think of any other things that we didn't touch on.
Victor, we started the live with this point. Very rare disagreement with Tran and I. Tran wanted the points, wanted to kick the field goal. I wanted to go for it. They went 99 yards, so that backfired on me. But however you feel about it, I personally, I'm with you. I like the aggressiveness. I feel like the chat's honestly 50-50 on this point. And that's football. That's subjective. If we were to build out a playbook of what we wanted to run offensively and defensively, there's going to be some similarities in the plays we want to run, and there's going to be some differences and some things, so again, we're all trying to get to the same outcome.
I think we played higher than a D grade. Honestly, I don't think it was.
I would say that. I mean, we still held this team to 27 points. Now, Max Duggan helped with that because he's not very accurate, and he missed a lot of throws. He didn't have like an interception or anything, but it was tough. I appreciate the donation because we're about to bounce, but I'll read this one for you guys. I think the offense has a lower ceiling with Casey at quarterback. I think Sark knew that in the offseason. Hudson Card's just not ready yet. We're going to struggle with the deep ball all year. Offensive identity is Bijan Robinson. I think you're right on the money.
I'll take that identity, though.
I'll take that identity, and I think these coaches are good enough to hide Casey's weaknesses to where we can, because there's a lot of good that Casey, I'm going to leave this comment up here for those who can't see it. There's a lot that Casey still brings to the table. However, Hudson Card, I mean, yeah, the arm from an arm talent standpoint, that's where some of that stuff comes into play. But part of that also is pocket navigation. I thought Casey Thompson at times navigated the pocket very, very well and got out of some stuff. He had a 41-yard scramble today. I'd like to see him use his legs a little bit more, to be honest with you, in getting himself, instead of getting so confident with that. So you definitely see the arm talent difference. And it's okay that Hudson Card's not ready. He's a freshman. I know he played a little bit last year, like in some garbage time stuff, but it's a different offense. He's a young guy. Just develop these guys. It's okay. Yes, Austin. I was at the game today. And Trent, did the kids play today?
They did. That's why I didn't go.
How we look?
We lost. We took our first loss.
No.
It was so I found out today specifically that our kids are we have 4 4-year-olds and 2 5-year-olds. And we played a team we played Manor, and they have actually 2 teams. They have one, it's like their JV team that they put their other, and then they have like their varsity one. We played them, and even the coach said, Your team's the only one who made us work for any of our scores. They scored twice on us. And all of them weren't just like big plays. It was them. They had to grind it out or get penalties on us. It was a frustrating game, to say the least, but it kind of sucks when you see your son saying, I lost the game for us. And I'm like, no, you didn't. If anything, your dad lost the game for you because he didn't prep you enough. I same thing that I say with the Longhorns, it's what they learn from this. Are they going to get better next week? So we'll see.
Good lessons for the kids, though.
My full energy, though, is that they have a ball game at the end of the year. Let's win every other game. I want another shot at them. That's my whole energy. Yeah. That's my whole energy. Yeah. So.
No, I appreciate you guys. We're gonna wrap up the chat because I don't want to be late and get in trouble with the fam. I appreciate everybody that jumped into the chat just now. This is again immediate reactions coming off the game. Shout out to Texas Homer for rolling with me today. Shout out to Lando Show, and just collaborating. I saw Fancy Boots from Fire the Cannon podcast. So we got to link up with Fancy Boots and the ladies over there. So it was really, really cool getting to meet them, take some pictures. If you guys are following on Twitter, hopefully you guys are following on Twitter, all of us. But can't wait to start working with them as well. And just getting some different interactions, some different perspectives, all of us as Texas fans. So really, really good time here in Fort Worth, watching our team win on the road. What are we now, 4-1? 4-1 on the season, 4-1 heading into OU. OU's undefeated. I think they won as while we were on here. So we are now. It's now hate week. It's now beat OU week. All energy shifts to them, and this is a unique week where the energy will be matched all week. Right? We're up for them. They're up for us. And we literally meet in the middle in Dallas, Texas at the Cotton Bowl. And it's one of the coolest experiences in all of sports for anybody that's ever had an opportunity to attend that game. It's one of the coolest things you can do in any realm of sports. John Kennedy, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it.
We should win more often.
We should win more often. I like that. Guys, shout out to our sponsor. Thank you to our sponsor, BUSR. Sign up today, busr.com/Fanatic, the official sportsbook, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. Use that promo code down there, Sports100FP. There's a 5-time rollover promo. We'll be able to match all donations. We are going to be announcing a contest coming here soon where details are coming. Stay tuned. But anybody, if you sign up right now, if you signed up a month ago, if you sign up next week, you might be eligible in the contest. It's not just for new signups. So I appreciate you guys so very much. Everybody we met today, super, super dope. Tran, I love you so much. Send all my love to the kids and everybody over there.
Absolutely. I'm glad you had a great time, man. I wish I was there.
I wish you were there with me, brother. But you were there in spirit, and you got to have the eagle eye view because you had the TV. So I was able to text you when I was confused about something. So it was cool to have somebody to help me out that have way more cameras than I have in the seats, because you can actually see more than I can see.
You know what we should start doing is start watching it on our phone at the same time. Have a little delay on there. That's what we should start doing.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, we appreciate y'all so very much. Remember, horns always up. 32-27 victory over TCU. Horns always up. Love you guys.